Hey, good morning. This is a different perspective, part 2. If you haven't seen the first one, I advise watching that first so you have the base understanding. This will be one of my most profound videos that I've done so far. So go back to the video I had previously done, just a couple quick things I wanted to point out. So when I'm referring to the energy signature for each realm inside the planet, that is a toroid, right? And everything that exists is a toroid. It's a will within a will. And so when I'm referring to the light going straight out or straight up, that is obviously how a toroid works, right? Same way as your heart. You have the red veins for the explosion coming out of the heart, blue veins going in because it's pulling in. So the Milky Way galaxy, the planet, everything works the exact same way, right? So the event horizon, like I told you, is where we exist. So if we had a record player, and that very center point where you put the record on to the record player, that center point is the singularity. The record spinning round and round, the actual vinyl record going out is where we exist, and that would be considered like the event horizon as far as a way to think of it yourself. Let's go back to one of the very first videos I did when I was talking about the theory of everything and how Nassim Haramein had combined all three phases of physics. And, I had explained that during Einstein's days that they had the strong force and the weak force, and they couldn't understand how if a proton is positive and an electron is negative, why they weren't being sucked in. And they invented the strong force and weak force because it was their best hypothesis they had at that time. When I started to look at the quantum holography videos, I understood that I was actually learning the exact same thing I had already learned, but I was learning it using a different means, a different way to identify the information, but it was all the same thing. And I just put these together recently, but let's talk about it. So a proton, a photon, and a qubit. To me, these all represent the same things, and this is why. Going back to Nassim Haramein, combining all three phases of physics, what did they discover? They discovered that it was the oscillation of the proton, just like the water going down your bathtub, that is pulling inward, right? So what was opposing and not allowing the electron to go into directly into the proton, just like all matter and light would go into a black hole, right? Stay with me here. So the proton is also acting as a projector, and everything that exists as a toroid, everything would have a proton, right? So we and everything that exists are made up of everything that exists is made up of black holes. And everything is made up of black holes because what they identified, those experiments that were going on at the same time, one was measuring the density of the proton, the other one was measuring the density of the black hole. And what they found was they were identical, and the only way that could be, and the only way all three phases of physics could be combined was if everything was a hologram, if everything was holographic. And so how reality is formed is all the protons that make up matter are all acting as their own projector. And the way that it works is, so like for the center of our Milky Way galaxy, it's Hawking radiation is the only thing that can escape there. And what is Hawking radiation? Hawking radiation are the qubits, the photons or the protons. They are the projectors of the reality itself. And so every single cell, every single thing that you see is a tiny little projector. And it's happening that way because the black hole, just like the proton, is the exact same thing. And, as above, so below. It acts as a tiny projector. So that is what makes up all the cells and everything that allows us to communicate right now. And when you think about that, so they always say that we are living in the shadow, or we are the shadow of the real world, right? Well, how do we know that's true? Because, well, first off, if we know that we're in a fractal universe, because you can take a picture and cut a piece off of it and look at it under a microscope and you'll still see the whole picture. That's because the quantum information is still in that template for that specific piece of matter. And so we would have there would be many, many, many black holes, but you would have your main black hole that is projecting the base reality that creates the record, okay? Then you have these little tiny holes, which are the realms on the record itself that have black holes on the opposite side of them that are shooting the black light straight up, okay? Now, as far as the world and everything being a copy, when we're in the ether realm, we all have a silver string that's attached to us, right? We are just one of the many probabilities. And whenever you're seeing like your spirit guides or higher self, all those are you. It's all you. All of it is you. And so where is the higher self at? All right. Where is the original you at? It's in the singularity. Where is the actual earth? Where is the actual universe? It's in the singularity. And then from the singularity, all of the different probabilities come out of all the different ways that reality could exist in all the different universes and multiverses. And then when the probabilities come to a specific point, they collapse. And that is what forms that specific reality. But understanding that everything that exists is like a proton, and that proton is acting as the projector just the same way that the black hole does. And the way the black hole does it, when it shoots out the Hawking radiation, it's shooting it up just like in a toroid field, right? And so that's why I think when we think about black holes, I do think everything is sucking in, but I don't think it sucks in on the side that we're looking. I think it's sucking in from the other side because it has to pull in to push out, right? A toroid out the top sucks in the bottom, right? And that is what creates the sphere of the universe from the center point of the Milky Way galaxy or the black hole there, right? And then, so long story short, now you know where your higher self resides. Now you know where all reality is formed, as far as just our reality too. This is just one piece of all the different realities that there actually are. And if you've looked at some of these pictures where we can see everything that exists, it just looks like a big neural network, right? It goes on forever and ever and ever. And so reality is always changing. Reality is always it's always collapsing on what the new probability will be. And so that's why the universe is always evolving and changing. But now you know literally how everything exists, how everything is formed, where you actually come from. And so when you pass away or whatnot, that doesn't even happen, that's impossible. When the body that you're a conscious being living inside a conscious being, right? So when the body that you're in passes away, you just move on to the next experience that you choose what you want to do. But I can go into all kinds of stuff on that as well. But I just want to put those pieces together for you. Hope you have a blessed day. Namaste.